everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my March 2026 reading vlog. So far this month I have already finished one book. I started reading it in the final days of February and I just finished it this morning, and that was The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown, which is off of my 100 Epic Reads of a Lifetime reading poster. I gave it 1 star. I will talk more about it in the vlog dedicated to some of the final books off of the poster. I will be doing 2 videos with 4 books, but it will not be every quarter. Instead, it will be probably released in June when I finish those books. However, I just wanted to say that I thought the book was really bad. I didn't like it at all. As for the books that I plan to read this month, I already have a little stack here. So the first book I plan to read is A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms by George R.R. Martin. This contains 3 short stories about the Hedge Knight, that being Sir Duncan the Tall and his companion Egg. I watched this show last month and I really enjoyed it. I am looking forward to season 2, and I thought that I would read the 3 short stories in here because of it. I also have some comics for the month. I will be reading We Are Robin Volume 1, The Vigilante Business by Lee Bermejo and other collaborators, as well as Robin War by Tom King. Let's see if those are any good, because last month I did not really enjoy any of the comics that I read. As for my other books, I'm not sure what I will be reading yet, so stay tuned. Hello, just a quick update to say that I have read We Are Robin Volume 1, The Vigilante Business by Lee Bermejo, and I gave this 1 star. And that 1 star, of course, is for Duke Thomas. I think he's a cool character, a very interesting character. However, everyone else in this issue was poorly introduced. It was all basically group chat nonsense. I don't know who any of these people are, any of these characters. One of them dies, spoiler alert, and I didn't know who it was, nor did I care. Also, the villain in here is not named. It is safe to assume he is a Court of Owls character because he looks like an owl. Otherwise, I did not know what was going on in this issue. This should be the issue that introduces absolutely everything. And they tried to give Duke a beginning arc, which was totally fine. However, the rest of it was just a jumbled mess. And I know that they're in Robin War and all of that nonsense, so I still don't even know what's going on with any of them. So the We Are Robin stuff, no clue. It's just safe to assume I know that Duke is there in this capacity. So I did not like this at all. I have also read and finished Odd Spirits by S.T Gibson, this being the first novella in the series that I read that's called Evocation, Ascension. I don't know what the actual series is called, I'll put it here, but this is book 0.5, and it is a small novella depicting a sort of like presence in their house. When the 2 main characters, Moira and Reese, begin their marriage, they are dealing with a presence in their house and they have to deal with it, and while also struggling with their relationship. So I gave this one 4 stars. It is a very small novella, only 115 pages, but I really enjoyed it, so much so that I'm actually going to be picking up the second book as my next read. Here it is, right here. I will be reading Ascension. I will be reading Ascension by S.T Gibson as my next book, and I am very excited. I have heard things about this. I've heard people are not happy with where the series is going, but I'm honestly pretty excited for any odd changes, any odd developments that I come across in this book, so stay tuned. have these J.J. Abrams lens flares. I think they're from my light that's currently on, or like the window or something, so enjoy those while I update you. My first update is that I have read 2 out of 3 of the stories in A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms by George R.R. Martin. The first story was The Hedge Knight, which is the story that takes place in season 1 of the TV show. The second story is called The Sworn Sword, and I am very much looking forward to how they will adapt that and any other future stories in the upcoming seasons, because as you are reading the book, you can really hear all of the actors' voices, and it is a very, very exciting story to read, and I'm looking forward to reading the third story as well. I believe that one's called The Mystery Knight. My next update is that I am 100 pages away from finishing Ascension by S.T Gibson. As I said before, a lot of people had criticisms of this book, and they were upset that one of the characters goes evil, and they were also upset with the way things were dealt with in the story. Whereas for me, I liked the way that the character was slowly turning evil, but it just turned out to not mean anything because it was all a bunch of petty squabbles. It was all a bunch of character work where they talked about their feelings, and now they're currently at one of the characters' cottages for Christmas. So I really hope some of the setup comes to a head in the last 100 pages, because why did we settle everything with a few apologies, have a Christmas party, and we're now in a cottage for Christmas? What does that have to do with any of the point of this story? I think that's a little bit weird. And there is also this subplot where one of the characters starts dating a man who is 6 years older than him. Oh no! Call Child Protective Services. A 30-year-old man's dating a 36-year-old man. And they keep reiterating that it's a toxic age gap, and then they have to keep going, oh, please, it's only 6 years apart. But then in the relationship dynamic, they act like he's such an older man and he's such a younger guy. What is going on? Did S.T Gibson actually write a proper age gap and then chicken out or something? There is a lot in this series where it just feels like the author wanting to write dark themes and then chickening out. I could actually say that about kind of her entire bibliography, her entire oeuvre of all of her books, is that she sets up dark themes and then chickens out. Do them! If you want to write gothic books so badly, do them! Do the dark themes, do an insane age gap, do 20 years, oh my god! Why are we babying around the fact that they're 6 years apart? My grandparents were 9 years apart! Who gives a shit? Oh my god! Anyway, it's safe to say that I was disappointed with the way that this story has been developing, but I still enjoy the series, and I really wanted all of the changes in this book to have proper meaning, but it's all just been resolved with pretty little talk about their feelings, and oh, everybody's so happy now, everybody's so touchy and affectionate, everybody's friends. They're all like adults. I just want like conflict to happen. I want things to not be resolved sometimes. This is only the second book. What the hell are they gonna do in the third book? Like, if they're trying to resolve everything and everybody's happy. Second books sometimes fall for this sort of sophomore syndrome where like it doesn't matter what the story's doing, but like it should matter because there's a curse. They seem to have forgotten all about the curse as well, you know, the whole point of the first book. Anyway, I still have 100 pages to go, so maybe everything could change, but for now, what the hell? Like, I was expecting everyone to get mad at this book for the one reason, and instead I see a whole bunch of issues that weren't even brought up in other people's reviews, so we'll see with the end of this book. So that's my update for now.
Okay, here we are at the final wrap-up for the month. I thought going in that I had only read 5 books this month, but I completely forgot that I read another book, so I ended up reading 6 books this month. The first book that I read and the one that I forgot was, of course, The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. That was read for my 100 Epic Reads of a Lifetime reading poster, and that, of course, got 1 star because it was just a bunch of thriller schlock that thought it was the smartest thing in the world, but in reality, it was just a bunch of hokey, simple garbage, and I just hated the way that the story was drawn out. It was not exciting to read, and I didn't care about any of the characters or any of the plots going on. So that was just a waste of space that I scratched off of the poster. I also technically got to page 215 in War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. I'm understanding that this is probably going to take me until maybe June to finish, just because of the rate at which I'm going and the interest at which it's currently holding me, which isn't a lot. But I will try my best to continue to read the story and update you eventually on it. For the comics that I read this month, the first one I read was We Are Robin Volume 1, The Vigilante Business by Lee Bremejo and other collaborators. And this only got 1 star because I like the character of Duke Thomas and thought that his setup was pretty interesting. However, the rest of the comic was a terrible introduction to the rest of the We Are Robin coalition. It was essentially just a group chat, and there was no setup for any of these characters, for any of the plot, for any of their family life, for any of their backstory, and I had no idea who the villain was, and in the end it all got absorbed into Robin War anyway, and Batman and Robin Eternal, and it was just a poor execution of something that I had no idea what they were even going for, so I was very disappointed to be giving this book 1 star. I then read Robin War by Tom King and all the other collaborators, another 1 star. I actually don't even remember what happened in this story. That's how bad it was, that it just was just a bunch more of the same, like, nonsense that was in Batman and Robin Eternal and in We Are Robin, and it was just so convoluted and messy, and I just cannot stand Tom King's writing. I don't know why he gets to have everything when he is just so boring and simple and wholesome and annoying. And I just don't, I didn't like it. Like, what even happened? I don't remember. I don't remember anything. They got put into cages or something? I don't know. There was no point to this. So yeah, this was terrible, and I'm losing hope on comics. I don't think I like the current comics. I don't like them. I hope to find some good ones soon. I like reading comics. What the hell? Next, I read the next 2 books in Summoner's Circle series by S.T Gibson. I read the novella Odd Spirits and gave this one 4 stars. And then I read the second novel Ascension and gave it 3 stars. I think that I enjoyed Odd Spirits better because it was a shorter and a contained story that had proper conflict and resolution without a lot of the muddy stuff in the middle that is just a little bit boring to read. However, this book started off very, very well. I was very, very interested in the character of Reese gaining power and then eventually losing control of it because of a wide variety of factors, and the conflict that was building between all of the relationships he had developed in the novels, friendship, family, or otherwise. And I was really enjoying how all of this was going to be resolved and whether everything could be resolved, because it is interesting to have conflict and have someone do horrible things and have there be consequences to that, and there just wasn't. It is so frustrating when huge actions take place in a novel and there is no proper consequences. Everyone just suddenly forgives him. They do a lot of talking and a lot of therapy speak, and everything just gets resolved. Also, I really hate when a character has a hunch about another character that seemingly holds no weight, and then at the end, it's just suddenly revealed that the character was actually the problem. Come on, don't be like that. At least set up that there's reason for him to be, worried about the other character and then to have those assumptions be proven right. But no, the entire novel, everyone was going, what do you mean? What do you mean the character's fine? That character's fine. You're crazy. You're crazy. And then at the end, the character just goes, oh, by the way, bad. So it was just really, really poorly done. It's just a really bad middle book in a series, where you don't want too much to be affected because you still have more books to write. And unfortunately, that has happened to this book, but it started off so well. I had high hopes. I was excited to hear about how this character was going to be finding his way into the evil side of things, given the amount of power he was holding and control he was holding. and I wanted that to hold actual conflict, and it's just so disappointing when things don't work out like that. And it just really seems like the author wants to have proper conflict and proper dark themes in a novel, but then just chickens out in doing them. Like, don't set up things that are considered bad. Don't put content warning at the beginning of the book when there's actually nothing proper or upsetting or proper merit for these content warnings. These are just themes in the novel. You can't content warning your themes in the novel. We've lost the plot in terms of what a content warning is supposed to be. Anyway, that's I'm gonna be done talking about this because I didn't hate it. I'm not mad at it, and I do want to continue in the series just because I want to see what else is going on. And they left a lot of plot threads hanging poorly, so I'm hoping that the next couple books, because I hear there's two more coming out, I hope the next couple of books sort things out because there's still, the curse, the whole point of the first novel to get to. So, yeah, I'm hoping that I will enjoy the other books in the series because I enjoyed the novella. And finally, I read A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms by George R.R. Martin, and I believe I will be giving this one 4 stars. Of course, my favorite story in here was the first one, that being the Hedge Knight, but I had just seen that adapted to screen with the new HBO show, so of course I enjoyed it a lot more. I then enjoyed the second story a lot, and then the third one felt a little bit too samey in terms of what was going on plot-wise. However, that does make sense for the world that it's taking place in and the time period it's taking place in. They are dealing with the after effects of a rebellion that took place just a generation before. So, of course, it makes sense to have a lot of that tying back to what is going on. So, I am not mad at it. I am very, very excited for the upcoming seasons of the show. It will be so cool to see how they adapt these 2 stories. And George also says he has more stories that he has yet to publish that he will be incorporating into the show. And I'm very excited about that too. So just a fun look into the Game of Thrones world through a different perspective and different time period. And I really, really enjoyed it. So that was it. That was my month of March. I thought I didn't get a lot of reading done because I read pretty sporadically this month, but it turns out I had 6 books read. So I am very pleased with that. I am not sure what I will be reading at all next month. I don't know if I will be picking up another book off of the poster yet. I don't know what comics I'll be reading, and I don't know what other novels I will be picking up, so it will be a total surprise both for me and for you, so stay tuned for that. Thank you so, so much for watching. Don't forget to like if you liked this video and subscribe if you didn't. I will see you all next time. Bye bye.